Your survival guide to hell. Congratulations! If you're reading this, you've likely made a series of very poor choices. Choices that led you here. To hell. Before we begin, let me be clear, this isn't some metaphorical hell. It's not the hell of fire and brimstone your Sunday school teacher warned you about. No, this place is far worse. It's a labyrinth of twisted nightmares, a dark, living thing that feeds on your fear and pain. You are in hell, and survival, well, it's a slim possibility, but if you follow this guide, you might just make it long enough to regret it. Step 1. Accept the unreality. Hell is not bound by the rules of the world you once knew. Time doesn't pass here in any meaningful way. There is no day or night, just a perpetual state of nothingness. The sky, if you can even call it that, is a swirling mass of dark clouds, constantly churning and whispering things you won't want to hear. If you're lucky, you'll only catch fragments of your worst memories on the wind. Here, logic breaks down. Your mind will be your first enemy. You'll see things that shouldn't exist, faces in the shadows, eyes peeking from cracks in the walls, familiar voices calling your name. Ignore them. They are not real. Or maybe they are, but acknowledging them is a surefire way to lose your grip on sanity, which you'll need if you plan to survive. Step 2. Keep moving. Staying in one place is suicide. Hell is alive, and it wants you to stay still. The longer you linger, the more it feeds off you. You'll feel it. The walls will close in, the air will grow heavier, and the ground will shift beneath your feet. The longer you stay in one spot, the more it warps to trap you. Keep walking. Don't stop, even if your legs are aching and your feet are bleeding. Pain means you're still alive. You might stumble upon a doorway. Sometimes it's a rusted iron gate, sometimes a gnarled wooden door, or maybe a perfectly ordinary door from the house you grew up in. Go through it. You don't have a choice. The corridors and hallways on the other side will twist and stretch, and you'll lose all sense of direction. But staying put will lead to something worse. Much worse. Step 3. Beware of the others. You are not alone in hell. But before you rejoice, understand this: the others aren't here to help. Some may look like fellow lost souls, and they'll tell you they're just as confused as you are. Don't trust them. Hell changes people, and they're no longer who they used to be. Most are shadows of their former selves, twisted into grotesque reflections of the worst parts of their humanity. You'll know them by their eyes. They look human, but their eyes will be hollow, dark pits, black holes that seem to pull the light out of the air. They may cry, beg for help, plead for mercy, but don't be fooled. They want you to come closer. And once you do, they will tear into you with the fury of someone who has been suffering for an eternity. If you're really unlucky, you'll meet one of the hunters. These creatures don't look human anymore, if they ever did. Their bodies are stretched, grotesque parodies of living things, with limbs too long and heads that tilt in unnatural angles. They move in jerky, almost glitchy motions, like they're flickering in and out of reality. You can't fight them. Don't even try. If you see one, run. Hide. They thrive on fear, and the more terrified you are, the faster they'll find you. Step 4. Avoid the mirrors. Mirrors exist in hell, though you won't find them often. When you do, walk away. Whatever you do, don't look into one. It's not your reflection staring back at you. It's you, yes, but it's not quite you. It's the version of you that belongs to hell, the version that has already given up. It knows everything about you, your fears, your regrets, your darkest secrets. And once you make eye contact, it will speak. It will tell you things you'll wish you never heard. And if you listen long enough, it will switch places with you. And then you'll be the one trapped behind the glass, watching your doppelganger walk away, free to do whatever it pleases with your life. Trust me, it will do things you wouldn't dare imagine. Step 5, the voices will lie to you. As you move deeper into hell, you'll start hearing voices. They'll sound familiar, comforting even. They'll whisper promises of escape, salvation, and freedom. They'll tell you that if you just follow their instructions, you'll find a way out. But every step you take in their direction will lead you deeper into the maze. They will lie, because hell is the lie. There is no escape, no salvation. The voices may try to sound like loved ones, people you trust. You might even hear your own voice. But no matter what they say, remember this, they are not real. The moment you start to believe them, they will take something from you. A memory. A piece of your soul. You'll feel it slipping away, and you'll be just a little less you. Step 6, never, ever look behind you. No matter what happens, no matter what you think you hear behind you, never look back. Hell is constantly shifting, warping the space around you. It's a trickster. It wants you to turn around. It needs you to. Because the moment you do, you'll see the truth. You'll see what's been following you this entire time, something you weren't meant to know. And once you've seen it, it will see you too. Step 7, the door out. If you're lucky or unlucky, depending on how you look at it, you might find a door that feels different from the others. It will look ordinary, perhaps even inviting. It could be a simple wooden door with a brass handle, or maybe a door you remember from your childhood home. This door, unlike the others, won't twist or warp. It will feel solid, real. You might be tempted to open it, to walk through and leave this place behind. But let me tell you this, that door leads nowhere you want to go. Behind it is not salvation, but something worse than hell. I can't tell you what's on the other side. No one who has opened the door has ever returned to tell the tale. Just know that whatever you find there will make hell seem like a paradise in comparison. Final step, acceptance. You're here now. And there's no going back. The longer you survive, the more hell will take from you. Your memories, your humanity, your soul. But here's the cruelest part, the more you fight, the harder it will be to accept the inevitable truth. There is no escape. There is no end. Hell isn't just a place, it's a state of being. A forever now. Your only chance at surviving hell is to let go of the notion of survival itself. So, you've made it this far. I'm surprised. Most people lose their minds after the first few days or hours. Time's tricky here, after all. But now that you're still holding on to some semblance of yourself, there's more you need to know. Surviving hell isn't just about outrunning monsters or resisting the urge to lose yourself to madness. No, hell is much more patient. And worse, it's personal. It knows your weaknesses. It knows how to break you. Step 8, the terrain is alive. By now, you've probably noticed that hell doesn't stay the same for long. Walls shift, paths collapse, and what was once an open road is now a dead end. This isn't a coincidence. Hell is alive. It breathes, moves, and grows around you, like a predator toying with its prey. You'll find yourself in familiar places from your memories. A childhood home, a school, maybe the street where you grew up. But they'll be off somehow. The colors will be faded, and the air will feel thick and wrong. That's because these places aren't real, they're made for you. Hell uses them to wear you down, to lull you into a false sense of security. Don't trust the landscape. No matter how comforting it may seem, it's watching you. It's learning. Sometimes, you'll find yourself walking in circles, always ending up in the same room or street no matter how far you think you've gone. When this happens, stop. Look around. Somewhere, hidden in plain sight, there will be a door or passage you missed, one that wasn't there before. It won't be obvious, and you might have to crawl through tight spaces or descend into a pitch-black pit to find it. But whatever's beyond that door is better than staying in the loop. Hell loves loops. Step 9, don't eat, don't drink. You will get hungry. You will get thirsty. Hell knows how to make you suffer in the most basic ways. At some point, you'll find food or water. It might be a feast laid out on a grand table, or a simple bottle of water in an otherwise desolate place. It will smell delicious, it will look safe. Do not eat it. Do not drink it. The food here is tainted. Once you take a bite or a sip, it changes you. You'll feel the hunger go away, but you'll also start to feel different. Your senses will dull. Your memories will blur. It's as if part of your soul has been consumed along with the meal. And after the first bite, you won't stop. You'll crave it more and more until you're nothing but a shell of your former self, mindlessly eating in the dark corners of hell, forgetting who you were. There are whispers that some of the wandering souls you'll encounter, the ones that seem lost and empty, were once like you. They made the mistake of eating. Now they wander, eternally feeding but never satisfied, slowly rotting away. Avoid the food. Let the hunger gnaw at you. It's better to suffer now than to lose yourself entirely. Step 10, the entities are watching. You've encountered the hunters, no doubt. Those grotesque, flickering creatures with hollow eyes that stalk you from the shadows. But there's more than just them. Hell has a hierarchy, and the further you go, the more powerful the entities become. At first, they might seem indifferent to you, like they're just part of the scenery. But make no mistake, they are watching you. These entities, call them what you want, demons, shades, or worse, are not bound by the physical laws of hell. They can bend space and time. They can appear in multiple places at once, and they thrive on suffering. Some are humanoid, with faces that almost resemble humans, but twisted, distorted into permanent sneers or expressions of agony. Others are more abstract, resembling swirling masses of darkness or floating, malformed shapes that drift through the air. They don't always attack, but their presence is suffocating. And if you draw too much attention, they will notice you. And once they do, they won't lose interest. If you ever find yourself face to face with one of these higher entities, do not speak. Do not acknowledge it. Back away slowly, and avoid making eye contact. They feed off your fear, and acknowledging their presence makes you vulnerable. The more you interact with them, the more real they become. And the more real they become, the harder it is for you to escape their grasp. Step 11, the false escape. Hell is cruel, and one of its most devious tricks is offering false hope. At some point, you'll come across what seems like an exit. Maybe it's a stairwell leading up to a bright light. Maybe it's a door with sunlight streaming through the cracks. Or perhaps it's an elevator, with soft music playing, the kind you used to hear in a mall. You'll feel an overwhelming urge to run toward it, to finally leave this nightmare behind. don't. It's a trap. These false exits are hell's way of luring you into complacency, of giving you a taste of hope only to snatch it away at the last moment. If you step through one of these exits, you won't escape. Instead, you'll find yourself in a worse version of hell, a deeper layer, where the walls breathe and the floor is soft beneath your feet, like skin. Those who fall for the false escape rarely come back. The few who do are never the same. They've seen things worse than the hunters, worse than the shifting terrain. They've glimpsed what lies beneath hell, the core of it, and it changes them forever. Step 12, avoid the red rooms. At some point, you'll encounter a door or passage that glows with a faint red light. It will draw you in, promising something different, something new. These rooms are temptations, offering knowledge, power, or even revenge. They play on your darkest desires, your anger, your fear. Inside, you'll find vision scenes from your life, but twisted. You'll see people you loved, people who wronged you. And the room will offer you a choice, to make them suffer. To undo your mistakes. To change the past. But these choices come at a price. Those who step into the red rooms don't leave unchanged. They become part of the room itself, trapped in a loop of torment, reliving their worst moments over and over, but with no control, no agency. They become playthings of hell, their minds broken by their own desires. Stay away from the red light. No matter how tempting it may seem, it's not worth the cost. Step 13, the silence. One of hell's most terrifying aspects isn't the screams, the whispers, or the unholy noises in the distance. It's the silence. Eventually, you'll experience it, a silence so complete, it presses against your skull, making your ears ring with the absence of sound. It won't be like normal quiet. This is something deeper, more unnatural. It's as if the world itself has stopped breathing. When the silence falls, you must stop moving. Do not make a sound. Hell is listening. The silence is its way of hunting. In these moments, if you so much as breathe too loudly, something will find you. You won't see it coming, you won't hear it move. But you will feel it. And by the time you do, it will be too late. The silence can last for minutes, hours, or what feels like days. But eventually, the world will start again, the low hum of hell will return. Only then can you move. Until that moment, do not let the silence break you. You're still here. Good. That means you've been paying attention. But let me leave you with one final warning, hell is patient. It doesn't need to rush. Every step you take, every corner you turn, it's watching, waiting for you to slip. You can survive hell, yes, but only if you keep moving, keep resisting. Remember, hell isn't just a place. It's a predator. And you're its prey. There's no guide for escaping hell. There's only survival. You've made it farther than most. The fact that you're still reading means you've learned how to survive the basics of hell. But as you've surely realized by now, this place has layers, each more insidious than the last. The further you go, the more personal it becomes, the more hell strips away your humanity, revealing your most vulnerable self. The final steps in this guide won't guarantee your survival, but they may help you hold on just a little longer. Step 14, the memory eaters. By now, you've probably begun to notice your memories fading, little pieces of your past slipping away like sand through your fingers. You'll struggle to recall your favorite childhood moments, the face of a loved one, or even your own name. This isn't just the natural effect of being in a place designed to break you. It's the work of the memory eaters. These creatures are nearly invisible. You won't see them, but you'll feel them. Like a faint pressure in the back of your skull, a tightening in your chest whenever you try to think of something important. They don't attack you physically, but they do feed on your mind, your identity. The more time you spend in hell, the more memories they take, until you can't even remember why you're trying to survive. There's no way to stop them entirely, but there is a way to slow their feeding. Keep something small on you, an object tied to a strong memory. It could be anything, a locket, a photograph, even a stone from a place you once cherished. Focus on it, keep it close. Every time you feel that tightening in your mind, hold the object, remind yourself of the memory attached to it. It won't protect you forever, but it might keep the memory eaters at bay long enough for you to hold on to your sense of self just a little longer. Step 15, beware the helpers. Hell has a sense of irony, and one of its cruelest tricks is the introduction of what seem to be helpers. These figures might appear at your lowest moments when you're on the brink of giving up, when you're starving, or when you're lost in the maze of your own despair. They'll offer a hand, a kind word, or a promise of escape. They might even look like people you once knew. Don't be fooled. These helpers are not here to save you. They are agents of hell, placed here to toy with your hope. They'll lead you down paths that seem safe, only to abandon you at the worst possible moment. Some will demand something in return: your trust, your secrets, even a piece of your soul. But the moment you accept their aid, you've already lost. The helpers can be anyone or anything. Sometimes they appear as familiar faces, like a long-lost friend, a family member, or even a version of yourself. Other times, they take on more grotesque forms, mimicking angels or divine figures. They'll speak softly, their words laced with promises of salvation. But remember this, in hell, salvation does not exist. If you encounter a helper, do one thing: walk away. No matter how desperate you feel, no matter how much you want to believe them, do not trust them. Their aid always comes with a cost, and that cost is far worse than anything hell itself could inflict. Step 16, the dead zones. As you continue to navigate hell's twisted corridors, you'll come across areas where the air feels wrong. The temperature will drop, and everything will feel static, as if the world has stopped moving entirely. These are the dead zones, places where reality has thinned to the point of breaking. The dead zones are traps. They pull you in with their eerie calm, offering a moment of peace in an otherwise relentless nightmare. But the moment you step inside, you'll feel it: the air thickens, like you're wading through water, and the walls close in. These zones are places where time, space, and reality have collapsed, leaving only emptiness. You'll be tempted to rest here, to stop running, but that's exactly what hell wants. Once inside a dead zone, it becomes increasingly harder to leave. The longer you stay, the more it drains you. You won't feel it at first, but with each passing moment, your energy will fade. You'll become sluggish, unable to think clearly. If you linger too long, you'll lose your will to move at all. And once that happens, the dead zone consumes you completely, erasing you from existence. If you feel the air shift and the world grow still, turn around. Walk away. No matter how exhausted you are, do not rest there. There is no return from the dead zones. Step 17, the inescapable echoes. There is a sound that you may start to hear faint at first, like distant whispers or the rustling of leaves. But the further you travel into hell, the louder it becomes. These are the echoes. At first, they'll seem like mere background noise, but soon enough, they'll become impossible to ignore. They are voices from your past conversations, regrets, things you wish you could forget but can't. The echoes will follow you, growing louder the deeper you go. They aren't just reminders of your past, they are distortions, warped by the nature of hell. You'll hear voices of people you've hurt, people who've hurt you, things you should have said, or things you wish you hadn't. These echoes are relentless, repeating the same phrases over and over, filling your mind with doubt and guilt. The danger of the echoes isn't the noise itself, but what it does to you. The more you listen, the more you'll start to believe them. Hell knows how to turn your own thoughts against you, and these echoes are its way of breaking down your resolve. If you focus too much on them, you'll lose yourself in a spiral of self-loathing and regret. To survive the echoes, you must learn to drown them out. Hum a tune, repeat a mantra, do whatever it takes to keep your mind anchored. The echoes will try to pull you in, but as long as you can hold on to the present, they can't hurt you. They are not real, even if they feel all too familiar. Step 18, the Hall of Faces. At some point, if you're unlucky enough, you'll stumble across a place known as the Hall of Faces. It may appear as a long hallway or a chamber, its walls lined with countless faces. Some will be familiar, others unknown. These faces are trapped souls, people who failed to escape hell and have become part of its twisted architecture. The faces will watch you as you pass, their eyes following your every move. Some will scream, their mouths contorted in endless torment. Others will whisper your name, pleading for help, begging you to free them. But here's the truth, you can't. These souls are beyond saving, and the more you engage with them, the more they pull you in. The Hall of Faces is another of hell's traps. The faces will promise you things, information, guidance, even a way out. But every time you stop to listen, you lose precious time. Worse, some of the faces aren't souls at all, but rather illusions created by hell to ensnare you. If you get too close, they will reach out, dragging you into the walls, where you'll join them for eternity. If you find yourself in the Hall of Faces, walk quickly and do not engage. Cover your ears if you must, but do not stop for any reason. Their cries are the last remnants of shattered souls, and if you give in to them, you'll become one of them. Step 19, the end is a lie. Hell is a place built on deceit, and one of its greatest lies is the illusion of an end. At some point, you'll feel like you've reached a conclusion, a point where the nightmare can't possibly continue. You might find a door, a path, or even a staircase leading to what appears to be freedom. You'll feel hope, a cruel trick of the mind, telling you that you've survived long enough to escape. But here's the truth, there is no end. Hell is infinite, and it adapts to your every move. The moment you think you've found a way out is the moment it tightens its grip. You'll find yourself back where you started, or worse, in a deeper layer of suffering. The paths here are cyclical, designed to break you slowly, to grind away your hope until there's nothing left but despair. The trick to surviving hell isn't finding an end, it's accepting that there isn't one. The more you chase after an exit, the more hell will lead you in circles. The true path to survival is endurance, not escape. You can't outsmart hell, but you can outlast it if you hold on long enough. Final thoughts, the unseen truth. By now, you've realized that surviving hell is not about finding freedom or defeating the monsters that roam its corridors. It's about endurance. Hell isn't just a place, it's a test. It's designed to break you down, strip you of your humanity, and see how much you can withstand before you give in. You can survive hell, but survival doesn't mean escape. It means living with the knowledge that this place will always be with you. It's in your mind, your soul, in every shadow you'll ever encounter. The final truth: hell is patient. It waits. You're still here. You've held on longer than most. But now we reach the final leg of your journey. If you've made it this far, you know that hell isn't just fire and brimstone. It's far more insidious, far more personal. The worst is yet to come. As you descend further into the bowels of hell, you'll face challenges designed not only to break your body, but to shatter your soul. This is where the boundaries of reality blur and the deepest horrors reveal themselves. There's no going back now, but remember, this guide is not about escape, only survival. You've endured hell's tricks and torment. Now, you face its true form. Step 20, the void calls. At the deepest layers of hell, you will encounter what some refer to as the void. It's not a place, not in the traditional sense, but an overwhelming sense of absence. The void can manifest anywhere: a gaping abyss, an empty room, or even as a reflection in a mirror. It's the space where nothing exists, not even time or thought. Once you step inside, there's no air, no light, no sound, only pure, suffocating nothingness. The void is not like the dead zones. It doesn't just consume you, it erases you. People who enter the void are never seen again. They don't become part of hell's architecture, like the faces in the walls, nor do they return as tormented shades. They are simply gone. If you ever find yourself at the edge of the void, back away. Whatever it offers, rest, peace, and escape from suffering, it's a lie. The void is hell's final weapon, a place where even the torment ceases, and your very existence is wiped away. If you stare into it too long, you'll feel the pull, like gravity drawing you closer. Fight it. Turn away. No matter how exhausted or broken you are, the void is not the answer. Step 21, the voices beneath the ground. As you walk further, the ground will change. You'll feel it beneath your feet, no longer solid rock or dirt, but something softer. It will feel like walking on skin, stretched thin over something pulsing and alive. From below, you'll start to hear voices, muffled but persistent. They will call out to you, pleading, begging for help, or screaming in agony. These voices belong to those trapped beneath the surface of hell, lost souls who have been buried alive in the very foundation of this place. You may feel an overwhelming urge to help them, to dig through the soft, fleshy ground, and free them. Resist that urge. These souls are not like you, they are beyond saving, and their cries are meant to lure you into a deadly trap. If you start digging, the ground will give way, and you'll find yourself pulled into the depths below. The deeper you dig, the louder the voices will become, until they drown out everything else. And then, when you least expect it, the ground will collapse, and you'll be swallowed by whatever lies beneath. Those who fall into the earth never return. They become part of the voices, adding their cries to the endless cacophony beneath hell's surface. Step 22, the mirrors of reflection. At some point, you'll come across a mirror standing alone, framed in gold, or cracked and weathered in a forgotten hallway. Unlike other horrors in hell, the mirrors seem passive, almost harmless. But this is one of hell's most dangerous illusions. These are the mirrors of reflection, and they show you more than just your physical form. When you look into one of these mirrors, you won't just see your reflection, you'll see the worst parts of yourself, the mistakes, the failures, the darkness you hide from the world. The mirror will show you every lie you've ever told, every betrayal, every regret. It won't distort these images. It will present them as truth, as a part of who you are. And the longer you stare, the more you'll start to believe that this reflection is your true self. Some who look into the mirrors of reflection become obsessed, unable to tear themselves away. They stare for hours, days, until they forget who they were before. Their minds become trapped in an endless loop of self-loathing and guilt, and soon, their bodies wither away, leaving only their reflection behind forever locked in the mirror's glass. If you come across one of these mirrors, do not look into it. Cover it, smash it, or walk away, but do not let it hold you. The reflection you see is a lie, one designed to break your spirit. You are more than the sum of your worst moments, and the mirror has no power if you refuse to believe in it. Step 23, the dying light. As you continue, you'll notice that the light around you begins to fade not quickly, but gradually, as if the world is slowly being drained of color and life. This is the dying light, and it signals the approach of something worse than any demon or monster you've encountered so far. When the light starts to fade, it means that the dark ones are near. The dark ones are creatures unlike anything you've seen. They don't hunt you in the traditional sense. They don't stalk, they don't chase. Instead, they absorb the very essence of everything around them: light, sound, hope. They are not physical beings, but manifestations of despair. Wherever they go, they bring with them a profound sense of emptiness, a void of emotion and life. If you find yourself in the dying light, do not stop moving. The longer you stay, the weaker you'll feel. Your energy will drain, your will to fight will fade. Keep your eyes forward and resist the temptation to look back. The dark ones are drawn to fear and despair, and if you let yourself fall into their grip, they will consume you, leaving nothing behind but a hollow shell. There is no fighting the dark ones. Your only option is to outrun them. Move quickly, stay in the light, and never, ever look back. Step 24, the shadow in the flames. Hell loves its fire, and as you descend deeper, you'll notice flames flickering in the distance, sometimes faint, sometimes roaring like a furnace. But be warned, the fire is not what you should fear. It's what hides within it. The flames are a distraction, a way to draw your attention away from the true threat, the shadow in the flames. This entity exists only within fire, and it is one of Hell's most ancient and powerful beings. It feeds off those who are drawn to the light, thinking that the fire is a sign of warmth or safety. But the moment you get too close, the shadow will strike. The shadow is not bound by the physical laws of fire. It can reach out beyond the flames, pulling you into the inferno with a single touch. Once it has you, there is no escape. Your body will burn, but you will not die. The shadow doesn't just consume your flesh, it consumes your soul, leaving you trapped in the fire, screaming but never truly perishing. If you see fire in hell, do not approach it. Stay in the shadows, where the shadow cannot reach you. The light may seem like salvation, but in hell, nothing is as it seems. Step 25, the endless descent. At the lowest point of hell, you will come across a staircase. It may be grand, like a spiral staircase in a cathedral, or crumbling and ancient, as if carved from the bones of the earth itself. This is the endless descent, and it is exactly what its name suggests, a staircase with no end. The temptation to descend will be overwhelming. You'll feel as though the answers you seek, the way out of this nightmare, lies at the bottom. But the truth is, there is no bottom. The staircase will continue forever, winding deeper and deeper into the heart of hell. Those who choose to descend are never seen again. The endless descent is a trap designed to prey on your need for resolution. Hell knows that after everything you've endured, you'll be desperate for an end, any end. But this staircase is not the way out, it is the final prison. The deeper you go, the more your mind will unravel, until you are nothing but a husk, walking endlessly down into the darkness. If you find the endless descent, do not take a single step. Turn around and walk away. There is no escape waiting for you at the bottom. Only oblivion. Final thoughts: embrace the darkness. You've come this far, and that's something few can claim. You've faced hell's deepest horrors, its most personal torments, and you're still standing. But now, you must make a choice. You cannot escape hell. That much is clear. But you can survive it, if you learn to embrace the darkness. Hell cannot break what is already broken. If you let go of the hope for freedom, if you accept the reality of your situation, you can endure. You can live within the nightmare, not as a victim, but as something more. The final truth of hell is this: it thrives on hope, on fear, on the belief that you can escape. The moment you stop giving it that power, the moment you accept your place within its depths, it loses its hold on you. You become part of the darkness, and in that darkness, you find peace.